Qlik's Senior Vice President, Global Partners and Alliances, Itamar Ankoryo.
Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to Partner Day, kicking off Qlik World 2023. Yeah. It's so exciting to see you all here, to see you all in person, here in Vegas, where it's pretty much morning time. I'm glad it's here today, so everybody's still sober. Well, thank you all for coming to spend time with us, coming to spend time with each other, and coming to spend time with our customers. We have about 2,000 attendees here, from over 50 different countries. And it's just great to see so many partners, over 250 partners represented, and this partner community of smart, caring, and data-loving people help make a difference for over 38,000 customers around the world. And it's great timing as well. For those who paid notice, last week, Qlik was being recognized by Gartner as a market leader for the 13th year straight. How about that? And we could not have done it without you, our partners. You help us make better products, you help us deliver value, you help us differentiate in the market, and you help us grow our business. So you all should feel proud of this, proud of your achievements. So again, thank you very, very much. Now, it has been 4 years since we had the opportunity to do this in person. And the last time was pretty much day one for me. And it's been quite a journey since then to today. You know, some say greed is good. I don't know about that, but change is definitely good. It makes us better, it helps create opportunity. And in the last 4 years, the market, the world, our customer needs, everything has changed. And you know, we made big investments to align and change with it. 4 years ago, we're selling pretty much ClickSense, just starting to look at data integration. And today, we have a comprehensive platform of diverse services, adding data integration, data management, catalog, application automation, machine learning, and so much more. 4 years ago, we're selling perpetual licenses. Today, it's only subscription. 4 years ago, we're selling client managed. Today, we're all leading with SaaS. 4 years ago, we're all doing resell. Since then, we've added co-sell and more ways for us to engage and work together with our customers. And we recognize that these changes require a lot of investment also from you to adapt and work with us. New products for you to learn, new systems, processes, new engagement models. So again, I want to thank you all for making these investments to align, change, and join us on this journey. And every journey is about creating opportunities. In today's agenda, we really focus on 4 growth areas that we believe we have with you. First, having more product, giving you more value through more innovation, more differentiation, and more customer needs and use cases that you can enable with our platform. 2 is having more SaaS. So again, we continue our focus to align with market and customer preferences, adding and creating further opportunity for you working with us to deliver solutions to them. 3rd, more services, more opportunity to deliver customer success through related services that add more value to our mutual customers. And finally, we have Talend, of course, where our partnership creates significant expansion of opportunity with more products as well as more services for you, our partners. And of course, as you're aware, we announced our intention to acquire Talend, and you'll hear more about that. So our agenda today will follow those growth opportunities. We'll start with a message from our CEO, and then we'll talk about growth with Qlik product innovations. We'll talk about capacity, model pricing aligned with our SaaS. We'll then talk about growth through customer success and services. And then we'll complete the first part of the day with regional award nominations and awards. We'll take a break and come back, and then talk about the growth with Talend. And then we'll conclude with the Global Partner Awards. Throughout the day, both with product innovations and around Talend, you're also going to get to hear from your peers, sharing their perspectives about the opportunity. So before we move on, just a quick reminder, housekeeping. Some of the information that you're going to hear here is confidential. So again, we're sharing it with your trusted partners. So please keep the information you hear in this room. Okay? Thank you with that. So and with that, let's kick things off. It's my pleasure to introduce Mike Capone, Chief Executive Officer.
I just want to add my sincere welcome to Itamar's. Words cannot express how incredibly great it is to be back in person with all of you. The energy that I feel right now from being back here after, I guess, like a 3-4 year layoff is just incredible. I don't have a lot of time with you today. I've only got 4 or 5 minutes. You're going to be hearing a lot from me tomorrow, so by tomorrow you're going to be a little bit tired of hearing from me, but what I want to do is just a few quick things. First and foremost is just a giant thank you to all of you. I say this all the time. We have the best partners in the entire world. I could not be more proud of all of the people in this room. It's loud. And I'll talk more tomorrow about why it's really important, but it is really important. There's a couple of points I want to make, and I'm going to try not to be repetitive with what I'm going to say tomorrow. But sometimes it's okay to be repetitive. Sometimes it's okay to say things more than once. One thing I want everybody to be completely reassured of over and over again is that our business is incredibly strong. Our business is incredibly strong. We're the last independent analytics provider at scale, and we love it. We love it. We love the hand we've been dealt. We love the fact that we are cloud agnostic, that we work with customers the way they want to work with us, and we give all of you opportunities to do amazing things with the customer base. And never in the history of the world is what you do and what we do more important than it is today. The theme for my keynote tomorrow is going to be navigating uncertainty, and we live in a very uncertain world. And the way that we're going to get through it is by leveraging data and analytics to the max. Not the old-time, backward-looking, legacy data warehouse analytics that we used to think about, but modern, high-velocity, real-time data that drives decision-making in real time, that drives action. And you're going to hear lots and lots and lots about that over the next couple of days, so I encourage you all to soak it all in. But our market position remains strong. We continue to gain share in the market. Our cloud business has more than doubled over the last year plus and continues to grow rapidly. And we're doing great. Double-digit recurring revenue growth, good profitability. All our metrics look terrific. And our customer retention, around 110% net customer retention. So customers that start with Qlik and start with all of you tend to stay with all of you in Qlik. So that's a great metric, particularly in this world of uncertainty and economic pressure. So something to think about. We're all in really good company here. The other thing I would say is, if I look at our strategy going forward, which I do every day, partners remain and will always remain a critical part of it. There is no future for Qlik that doesn't have partners dead center of our strategy. Now those relationships have to evolve. The industry is evolving, the world is evolving. You're going to hear today about changes in our pricing and how we're thinking about the go forward. But we want to do that with you. We want you to come along for the journey. And what you're going to see is a very thoughtful round of conversation and enablement about how we write the next chapter of our business together. So I think you're in for a great day today. But let me be super clear that you're critical to our strategy going forward, particularly as we pivot to cloud. The last thing I'll mention briefly, you can hear a lot about it, is Talend. So first of all, there are a number of Talend executives and salespeople here at the conference. I encourage you to seek them out. They're terrific. We love them. They're soon to be Qlik Talend employees, but we're still a little bit stuck on regulatory approval. We expect that to wrap up shortly in the next few weeks. So in the meantime, they are our most favorite partner, I guess is what you say right now. So they're here as a partner, but they're here as future family to Qlik. I've been after Talend. Drew Clark is here, my head of corporate development, since the day I started at Qlik. I thought that there's an amazing combination to be had with the power of what Qlik does, particularly as we've added our capabilities around data integration and Intuity, for example. And now that it's becoming real, I'm even more excited. The more I learn about Talend and their capabilities, the data quality, the data prep, all of those things fit very nicely. It's incredibly complementary to what we do. So get excited, get excited. We're going to have a whole bunch more stuff to sell on top of what is already an industry-leading data and analytics platform. So I want you to dig in, have a great time. We've got a great bunch of Day Street here. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow during the keynote, my keynote, where we're going to have some great customers speak. And then Wednesday, when James does the product keynote, you're in for a terrific treat. So what I want to say is just thank you for being the best partners in the world, and have a great rest of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Qlik's Chief Product Officer, James Fisher.
It is awesome to be back in the room with everybody again today. It's been great to see everybody. It's been great to be bumping into people in the corridors, not around casino tables, thankfully, I'm pleased to say. Maybe as the week progresses, that'll be the case. But it's great to be here. And I've got the unenviable job this afternoon, of trying to cram the next 3 days of content and sessions and discussions into 20 minutes from a product perspective to summarize all the great things that we're going to be sharing with you all and of course all of your customers. I'm really, really excited because a lot of my team are here, a lot of our R&D leadership team are here, our product experts that are just dying to be talking to each of you and each of your customers to get that feedback, to get that insight into every conversation you're having, from the very first engagement with the customer to the point where they're deployed, they're going live, and they're realizing true business value with our solutions. So let me just dive into it, and I'm going to share a couple of things here that I think are going to be really relevant to the next couple of days, a couple of things that I think you should be looking out for, and hopefully they will inspire you to have conversations with each of your customers over the course of the next couple of days and as we move forward. So our roadmap is ultimately built around 3 key guiding principles, and they're guiding effectively everything we do. We always ask ourselves the question, if we're doing something, how does it align to one of these 3 things? Qlik is a SaaS company. We will operate as a SaaS company and we will deliver as a SaaS company. I'll talk a little bit more about the implications of that in just a moment. But we recognize that our customers are inextricably moving towards the cloud. Our job, working with you, is to build a roadmap, to build tools, services, and migration capabilities that helps them move forward at a pace that makes sense for them. The second is the data principle. This is all about our ability to respect customers' data wherever it resides, and to give them the ability to work with that data, get our hands on that data, and drive insights from it from an increasingly large pool of users in their organizations. It also represents a really sizable chunk of product and investment in bringing the former Agility capabilities acquired in 2019 into the cloud platform. A big mission that we set ourselves, and something over the course of the next 3 days we're going to prove to you that I think we've delivered upon. The third thing is the customer principle. Customers are at the heart of everything you do, and they're at the heart of everything that we do to support them. This includes our ability to protect customers' investments, spanning for those, as you know, those releases that we make every year in QlikView, right the way through to the way we think about delivering cloud services packaged with more and more onboarding and more capabilities that you help bring to the party to get value from customers more quickly. And Roberto is going to be here a little bit later and talk a bit more about how that notion of services and partnering with you all plays a key role in everything that we're doing. So this is all about driving an innovation pipeline. It's about driving an approach to market-driven innovation which is fed by feedback. Feedback from our field teams, feedback from our competitive and market analysis, feedback from all of you, and of course feedback from all of our customers. That fuels the ideation. It fuels a pool of different things that we can be doing right across the product portfolio. My team then have a difficult job to prioritize, to select the areas that we're going to be investing in, and in some cases the areas that we won't be, and then be transparent about that. Build a plan, execute flawlessly against that plan, giving you all the ability to know what is coming and when, so you can build a joint roadmap with your end customers on our behalf. We have one great advantage as we think about the cloud in this innovation lifecycle, however, which is around adoption. The value case for moving to cloud has often been articulated in terms of cost of ownership. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure. The real advantage of cloud is the ability to take advantage of new capabilities seamlessly deployed to customers and instantly available to them. The telemetry that we then get from how customers, and yourselves indeed, are interacting with those capabilities helps us improve them. That creates a closed-loop process and helps us improve and influence our roadmap moving forward. Feedback is making an incredible difference to everything that we're doing. Today, over 80% of all deliverables that come out of our R&D organization are directly influenced by your or customers' feedback. This is incredibly, incredibly exciting. It means that we're listening. Again, we can't do everything, but we can commit to listen. And there are a number of different ways in which that feedback can be gleaned. It can be gleaned from all of the conversations that you're all going to be having with each other and the Qlik teams over the course of the next couple of days. It can be learned from the engagements that you're having as you're co-selling in our key accounts, as we're talking to customers, seeing what's happening in the landscape. It can also be gleaned through the ideation process. And this, for me, is one of those areas that I think we can do a lot better working together to improve the way we're pulling more and more ideas and driving more collaboration around those ideas from the community. Because it does make a difference. We are building and delivering capabilities through our roadmap, directly influenced through ideation. We've made big investments here, and we've got a dedicated product manager, Megan, that looks after our ideation process, doing an incredible job of just building out the feedback loop. One of the challenges I think we've had here is that we've collected a lot of ideas, but not necessarily been so good at driving that feedback. What are we doing with it? That's a big area of focus. The other area is about driving more engagement. And I think we can do better than the numbers that are here in terms of your engagement and customers' engagement in the underlying roadmap through ideation. That's one of the reasons why we're putting ideation directly into the cloud platform. So ideation is absolutely key to everything we're doing. And it's driving our vision forward, it's driving our portfolio forward. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the individual component parts here today because, let's face it, you're going to get all of that from the breakout sessions and the other presentations and workshops that are happening here in Las Vegas over the course of the next couple of days. But that focus that we have is really built around a portfolio of solutions that supports data integration, data quality and governance, analytics, and foundational services that support all of those different components, whether that's workflow or orchestration, our API frameworks, and of course the catalog as a bridge between data engineers and data consumers. Drew's going to be here a little bit later, and we'll talk about how the planned acquisition of Talend will augment that vision and bring a whole new set of capabilities to our portfolio as we welcome their customers, their partners, and of course all of their team members to the Qlik family. The other element that I have to mention here is the technology ecosystem, many of which is represented in the room here today. Our investments in supporting our key technology partners, either through data integration or analytics, are critically important to everything that we're doing and occupy an increasingly large proportion of our investments. So that work with AWS, with Databricks, with Google, Microsoft and Snowflake, and many, many more is absolutely key to our execution moving forward. So, how do we think about it? Data integration, that first pillar, is all around supporting our ability to deliver data integration, to move those on-premises capabilities into the cloud, to leverage the differentiation and uniqueness that we've always had with CDC and change data capture, but then augment that with a new approach to how we think about data movement, and most importantly, transformations. Bringing those advanced transformations into the cloud and all of the capabilities that sit around that is fundamentally at the heart of our data integration roadmap and priorities. On the analytics side, the narrative and the story has been incredibly consistent. From my point of view, it's very simple. How do we help more of our customers, your customers, get more value from the data that's available to them, irrespective of where they are on the analytics maturity curve, and irrespective of where they are on the data literacy scale. So our investments that start from visualizations right the way through to augmented analytics and auto-ML support all of that process. And then finally, foundational services. This is all about our ability really to leverage new services across the platform. As I said, the catalog is fundamentally key to that. Our investments there around reusability of objects to drive more consumption of data and put more business-ready data into the hands of more users is key. And those investments support both data integration and analytics use cases. We've delivered a huge amount over the course of the last year, but as we look forward, our priorities are really grouped in a couple of key areas. You'll get much more detail about this in the roadmap sessions. I encourage you to register for them because they're very highly subscribed right now. But at a very high level, it's very simple. We're focused on balanced investment across each part of the portfolio. We're growing our investment in data integration, but not at the cost of analytics. We're delivering cloud first, but critically not cloud only. So we continue to support and add new capabilities to Qlik World. We continue to support and add new capabilities to our data integration products with sources and targets. And we continue to make investments in analytics, particularly around the engine, which benefit both cloud and client-managed deployments. The priorities we have here extend way beyond the 5 items that are listed here. The cloud connectivity and working not just with migration of on-premises data into the cloud, but increasingly working with enterprise data that resides fundamentally in the cloud is key to the innovation cycle that we've got. Expanding targets, add work around visualizations, expanding and bringing new imprinting-like reporting capabilities into the cloud is key as well. We're also moving incredibly quickly on this journey, and it's important we don't lose sight of finishing the things that we started. That's an element of feedback that I think we've heard quite consistently from this community. So fit and finish is a key priority that we're asking the teams to focus in on. The result, as I said earlier, is a huge number of deliverables across both client-managed and cloud capabilities. I'm going to highlight just 5 of these that are either coming or available now, and I think you should dig into over the course of the next couple of days. There's too many to get excited about every single one of them and share here, but cloud sources. For me, this is really, really key. It's been a really important area of our investment as we build out our data integration capability in the cloud platform. We've heard loud and clear that our ability to work with cloud-based enterprise data is absolutely key. We're moving from being very database-centric to being very application-centric as it comes to cloud-based sources. So we're making big investments here. And indeed, this is one area where the roadmap will only improve as we welcome Talend into the family in the future. So making it really easy to connect with business-ready data, business-critical data, and bring that into an analytic data pipeline is at the heart of everything we're trying to do. We're also trying to ensure that we have singular velocity around how we do that and add new sources in the cloud all the time. And that's the role of the Connector Factory, a dedicated pool of resources inside our R&D organization designed to further our roadmap around cloud connectivity. The other areas I mentioned that I think is really key is data movement and transformation. These new services delivered as part of Qlik Cloud, leveraging our capacity-based model, I think open up an incredibly exciting opportunity for customers to leverage the cloud for data workloads. And could do that in a very complementary way alongside existing client-managed deployments. There are a number of things coming in the roadmap that we'll be talking about over the course of the next couple of days, including the ability to register third-party data within the catalog and do push-down transformations on that data. That is a great way for existing replicate customers to be benefiting incrementally from the value that the cloud platform brings. The upskilling of analytic users is a hugely broad description and really kind of includes a whole host of different things that the team are working on. It includes, as I said earlier, all of the work that we're doing around visualizations and the controls of visualizations. I think one of the top sessions that's been pre-registered to is Patrick Nordstrom's session around what is now possible to do within Qlik from a visualization and a control perspective. I think that is a critical session for many, many of you and for our customers. So if it wasn't already oversubscribed before, I certainly hope it is now. But it extends beyond just that. It looks at everything we're doing in terms of the authoring experience, putting a new simplified authoring experience into the cloud while not taking anything away from the advanced authoring, putting more controls around that advanced authoring, and then extending that ultimately into everything we're doing with AutoML, which we brought to the cloud platform last year. And then the next bucket is that shift away from just diagnostic and descriptive diagnostic analytics into that world of predictive and prescriptive analytics. We made big investments starting a few years ago around our vision for augmented analytics. And that started with some work around Insight Advisor and chat, and that's extended now through search, natural language generation, but really for me comes together with the capability that we put in place with Qlik AutoML, delivered last year to every cloud platform, as I said. Here our focus is on learning from feedback and making sure we're incrementally improving everything we do here. One of the key areas, I think, for me, is leveraging the methodology that Big Squid had in terms of driving rapid time to value, rapid time to deployment for AutoML models, productizing that, putting more of that into the core of the capability. And that's a big driver for the investment we're making alongside other things like new data prep capabilities on the analytics side designed to really improve the way in which you can prepare data models for AutoML use cases. And then the final area that I think is a consistent theme and an area that I still think really resonates is all of the work that we have been doing, continue to do around embedding analytics, no longer requiring analytics to be a destination, putting those analytics, those insights into the hands of more users wherever they reside across the organization. So the work we've done there to support our OEM partners around things like multi-tenant management, continue to improve the way in which you can embed, build and create analytics in the cloud for embedded use cases, alongside the application automation that came in through another acquisition a year ago around Blender, is really extending the reach. This is fundamentally key in broadening out, I think, our ability and your ability to reach more users in our customers' organizations. So there's 5 things I think that we can focus in on. The roadmap for the rest of this year is incredibly, incredibly rich. And we continue, I think, to deliver incremental improvement in areas that have been part of the platform for some time, along as introducing brand new capability to the tooling that is available across both data integration and analytics on premises and in the cloud. And you are in exactly the right place to learn about all of these things here at Qlik World over the course of the next couple of days. We're also going to be really excited about welcoming Talend to the family and augmenting everything we're doing, which Drew will talk a little bit more about later. So at this point, I would normally thank you, and I would wish you a good afternoon and encourage you to register the breakouts and send you on your merry way. But Itamar decided that you needed to hear more from me, which I apologise for. I disagree with him on that. You don't need to hear more from me. What I actually want to do is welcome some partners to the stage and get a bit of a partner perspective. What does this innovation roadmap mean for our partners? and how is it helping them drive more value for their customers. So to do that, I'd like to welcome two partners to the stage to share how they use innovation to create value in their organizations. So please join me in welcoming Tony Gallagher, Managing Director of Data and Information Services at Analytics 8, and Gerrit Burry, Chief Technology Officer from Inform Software, who's come all the way from Germany to be here with us today. So gentlemen, please join me on stage. Great to be here.
Great to be
Happy to be here?
Yes, absolutely.
Good to be back in person again?
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, Tony, I'm going to start with you. Analytics 8 has been a partner of Qlik for a long time, certainly for as long as I've been here, and that's nearly 9 years now. And you've had the privilege, I think, of seeing our product portfolio evolve over that time, and that's changed the way in which you're having a conversation with customers. So perhaps a sort of opening question, how's the breadth of that portfolio, that depth that we're now able to offer, helped you engage with customers, and help you win more new customers?
Yeah, I was thinking about this as you were talking earlier, just how much similarity we have in the length of our relationship and the way we view things. It's more than just technology too. Like I've been at LSA for 9 years as well. I didn't know that. You were here for 9 years too, it's cool. But just to have a technology partner who's also cloud first, who's also cloud agnostic, who's focused on helping to serve organizations end-to-end throughout the entire data analytics lifecycle, helps us have a very coherent and consistent message when we talk to customers, which helps us win business together. And I think particularly thinking about how impactful it has been for us to be able to transition our business from being very analytics focused to being much more balanced, similar to your portfolio. And the role, especially that like QDI has played in terms of getting data to like central cloud data platforms to make it more easier to manipulate and use again. And to me, again, it's the relationship and it's the consistency in terms of messaging that helps us win business together. I think that's impactful, in addition to all the great technology.
So look, we all have our own pitch, our own way of talking about the value that we bring, about the technology, and in your case about a lot of the services and the value add that you're able to surround that delivery with. But what's your pitch? What are sort of some of the key differentiators that really help you be successful?
Yeah, so, and particularly with Qlik as well, and again, QDI, so many of our customers, when they look at moving data to the cloud and to central data platforms, end up creating pretty brittle solutions as they iterate. And you think about especially trying to connect and move data from enterprise databases or mainframes, having something that is enterprise ready, that can scale with customers, that can support the demand it actually takes to support these services. Again, simplifying that, automating that with QDI is a huge resonating differentiator, I think, when we talk about Qlik and especially QDI with customers as well.
Excellent. So a lot of customer-orientated benefits there. But what about Analytics 8 as an organization? What does the platform help bring you as a partner?
So I love data engineering. That's my area of remit. I will say a lot of our customers think about that as plumbing, right? And then at the end of the day, having solutions that allow us to get to conversations about how do we drive business value with data is so critical for us as a partner. Again, having a partner in Qlik who can help us get data to the cloud, to a central data platform quickly, so we can start having business impactful conversations with our customers is so valuable to us, right? Think about the time that we spend with customers. I'd much rather spend our time having conversations about how we can augment their data with the business context that's necessary to turn it into information, how to have modeling conversations with them about how things fit together, these difficult concepts, and again, try to continue to deliver value with the breadth of our experience in analytics and where we started with you all on our journey. And so again, for me as a partner, I don't think it's plumbing. I think it's very important, obviously. But at the end of the day, having our time spent on business value driving activities is a huge area for us to make sure that we're able to communicate our true value in the service we're providing to our customers. And you all are a great help in that.
Excellent, excellent. So, Tony, that's brilliant. So, Gary, let me turn to you. Great to have you here. I've spent a lot of time talking to you guys because I'm from that part of the world across the pond. Again, Inform, incredible long-term partner of Qlik. Long history in analytics. You built some incredible solutions on top of the platform, particularly around planning solutions, and are now seeing sort of success with data integration. So, beyond you, of course, what is the secret sauce?
Well, thanks for having me here. Well, we were coming on board QDI pretty early in the process, and we were lucky to have 2 to 3 people on board that were already familiar with building data warehouses. So we recognized the possible value of data platform for us as a partner immediately, and we staffed. And now roughly 1/3 of our consulting force is taking care of data management, and the other 2/3 is still running the data analytics business. And of course, if you think about the pitch that we provide, this end-to-end possibility that we can now deliver, especially when you talk to the customer and say, okay, we can take it from raw to ready and build a bulletproof data platform that is feasible for even future use cases that might not be able to do with the Qlik software itself. That's what the customer really like.
And I think that forms part of all of the discussion you have around the data strategy with your customers as a whole. So, as a long-standing partner with Qlik, you've obviously worked, with QlikView, with QlikSense customers. So, how are you managing some of those relationships? How are you thinking about building their journey forward, and how's the cloud opening up that sort of opportunity for a bigger, broader conversation with those existing customers that you've got?
Yeah, as Jeff mentioned, financial planning. We've built an extension for QlikSense. It's called Right Plan, Great Renewable Planning. And I can tell you a little bit about a recent project that we've done. They were on the lookout for a data platform, and they had an old-fashioned, pretty old school and legacy planning FP&A software in place. Pretty expensive. And we were able to rebuild all the features that they've needed into QlikSense with our extension. And then we have freed up budget so they can reinvest into the data platform. And talking about the features, I mean, of course, we think as Inform that planning is going hand to hand with the data platform. But of course, additional features like the possibility to have a CDC, change data capture from SAP as a data source, especially if you come from Germany, where SAP has a great market share, is one key feature. The other thing is probably alerting or, let's say, machine learning as well. That fits very well with the planning.
So how do you bring all of those different components together, from data integration to AutoML? How do you put a wrapper around that? How's that helping drive growth in your business?
Well, of course, if you run these data platform projects, they tend to be a lot bigger than pure QlikSense only projects. So, of course, the relationship that you do or that you get with the customer is a lot better. So management attention is a lot higher. And once you're at the core data infrastructure and run probably even the processes on QlikSense, you're not that exchangeable as a partner anymore. And the stickiness of the customer to you as a partner is a lot higher. So, yeah, that's an additional value for us, as well as the upsell possibility. So we can upsell data integration consulting, for example, where we take the customer and run use case discovery workshops, or probably taking care of their target operating model, or taking care of their data governance as well.
Would you say, Tony, that you've seen a similar thing in terms of that strategic level that you're able to get to with a broader proposition?
Yeah, I think having the ability to speak to the entire data lifecycle lends credibility, because you understand how everything's going to fit together. You can anticipate what's coming around the corners. So again, it's just helpful to have that end-to-end view, that consistency, I think, as well.
All right, so I'm going to throw one last question at you, and it's okay to say my keynote. But what is the most exciting things you're looking forward to over the next couple of days? I'll start with you, my keynote. Yeah. Well done.
No, I think as much as we're going to be able to learn about how, the vision about how Talend and Qlik are going to fit together, obviously, we've done work in both, and the idea of building strength on strength, I'm very interested in that. Given that might be limited, I would say anything to do with machine learning across your platform would be very interesting this week.
All right. Well, Drew will be here a little bit later to talk about how he's thinking about M&A and a bit more on Talend. So we'll probably give you a bit more about that as the day progresses. Garrett, what about you? What are you most excited about being here?
The roadmap, and possibly a useful pivot table.
Okay, the roadmap. All right, we'll get you front row seats in the roadmap session. Gentlemen, thank you both very much. Please, a warm round of applause for Tony and Garrett. All right, well, that was great. Really appreciate the guys joining me on stage and sharing a little bit of insights. I promise I didn't prime them too much on my keynote being the most exciting thing about the next couple of days. We know that's my boss's keynote that really is the most exciting one to look forward to. All right, well, look, so I'll close by simply just saying, it's great to see you all again. It's great to be here in a room with you all again. Our Qlik team, the entire Qlik team, is super excited to be able to learn from you over the course of the next couple of days, give you all of the tools that you need to win and succeed with the product capabilities that we're putting into place. And of course, we cannot do that without you, without your feedback, without your support, and without your services. So that is really now it from me. Thank you all very much for the time this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Qlik's Vice President, Global Product Marketing, Josh Good.
Hello, everybody. It's great. I'm so excited to be back. I love coming to Vegas. Actually, I'm just super excited. I actually live on a large island in Canada, and I got to get off the island finally. So I'm really excited to see new faces I only know on Zoom, and of course, faces I've known for many, many years. I'm going to talk to you today about our pricing and packaging, and we're launching this new capacity pricing, and it's going to really be a game changer in how we interact with our customers, how we interact with you, and move us forward. We've talked a bit about this before, but I'm going to go over some of the highlights of it, and then get into really the important aspect, which is how are we going to need to change the way we interact with our customers in order to make this successful. So you may be asking, why change now? Well, the reality of it is market expectations have changed dramatically. When I started at Qlik, we were a perpetual license software company selling on-premise software. The cloud has changed the way people expect to buy, both in our personal lives and in our work lives. The simplicity that we're looking for now in those purchases as the software has had more and more capabilities has also changed. And we've got this feedback from you and from our joint customers about the complexity of how we're selling. And we're even seeing some of you get a little more innovative of trying to package things together in a simpler way. And so we've heard that feedback, and we've decided now is the right time to make that change. And then the last thing about why we're making this change, and one of the goals is to make expanding with the software easier. You don't want to have to, question whether you should do a new project because you now need to incur additional cost immediately when you're trying to check out how you're going to get the value out of that project. You want to know the value's there and then spend the additional investment. So to come up with this and to figure out what the best next thing to do was with our pricing and packaging, we did a really crazy thing. We went out and collected information, put it all together, and then looked at the results. You know, really weird idea, I know. And when we did that, and we talked to you as partners, we talked to customers, prospects, we brought in some pricing experts, the ultimate thing that came back was where the true value lies with what we do is in the data. It's not very surprising, but it is interesting to know that the data that's being used, that's what we're doing. We're extracting that value from the data, and our customers, and particularly prospects, see that's where the value lies. So we aligned the new pricing and packaging to value the data. Not to value the users, who are very valuable, not to value based on how many sources or targets you have, but to value the data you're using, and that we're turning that data into a higher value asset. So that's why we settled on data as the value metric, because the data told us that data was the value metric. We also, you know, while we're talking about this, I figured I'd quickly flash up the timeline so you know how much you should care about this and when you need to really know about this. So Qlik Cloud data integration, it's live now. We're already selling on the capacity model. It's the only model available for selling in SaaS for data integration. You can still sell client managed, so replicate, compose, etc. on the old model. We're not going to change that. And then the other thing to know is for Q2, it's a co-sell model. And it's not a co-sell model because that's the best model and the only model we're going to go with. We decided to go with a co-sell model with our partners because this is new and we need to learn together. And Qlik wants to be with you every step of the way in those first sales of this new capacity model. Because one thing we know for sure is not everything's perfect in it. We got some things wrong, we're going to need to make some adjustments, and we want to get that feedback as fast as possible so we can do that. An interesting thing to know is best practice with SaaS models is to adjust them about every 6 months. It doesn't mean a wholesale change, it means adjustments. So we want to be able to make those adjustments. When it comes to analytics, the target is for Q3, hopefully the beginning of Q3. But that will only happen if we hit specific exit criteria. We will go forward with that when we're ready. And the professional analyzer model will remain as an option in SaaS as well as client managed. So essentially we're putting a new thing into your options when you're selling to new customers or existing customers. And when we talk about existing customers, conversion is probably the thing that comes up to you. What is conversion going to look like? Well, with conversion, we're going to try to make customers as whole as possible and really not change too much for them. So we'll look at the capacity they need to do what they're doing today, and then we'll say, we'll charge you about the same for that. I'm being a little bit waffle wordy here because we'll look at each individual customer separately, but overall the idea is let's move them to the new model as painlessly as possible with no major change in what their value they're being delivered is, and then what they're paying, and then they can buy in the future on the new capacity model. As you probably already know, or you should know, there's five different editions. But we have enterprise combined, so you can make large enterprise deals, and we have the premium standard enterprise. I'm not going to get into the details of all the pieces of that today, because it is all available through various training we've already put out there, documentation we put out there for you, and of course we will follow that up with more information as needed, particularly as we roll out the analytics side of the business. But from this one look right up here, most customers will know pretty much where they need to focus their efforts on. So what I do want to spend the rest of my time talking to you about is what's going to be different and how we're going to have to think differently when we're moving together with this capacity pricing. So the first thing I want to be really clear on, this is capacity pricing. This is not consumption pricing. Consumption pricing is like your electricity bill where you use it and then you get the bill at the end. Very common in software now to sell that way, and it works. But there's a whole bunch of issues with it. One is the pitch is it's really inexpensive. You just start using it. Well, it's really inexpensive until you actually use it and you get the bill. And then it sucks. We know from looking at other customers and other vendors, what ends up happening is the customer comes back to that vendor and says, you know what? I want consistency. I don't want a surprise bill at the end of every month. I want to know what I'm going to pay. I need to budget for that. Can we just say I'm going to use about this much every month, and then I'll just charge me this much? That's capacity. You can use up to this much amount. You're always going to pay the same amount for that. The other interesting dynamic that you have there is we're always looking at how do we justify the value. So you need to make sure that that our customers are actually getting the value out of it. Adoption becomes really, really important. When we're looking at adoption, the other part you think is like, well, what is the adoption going to be like? How much am I going to need? Estimating the size for capacity is something that everyone's a little bit nervous about, including me. How are we going to do this? How are we going to make sure that we get the right size? Well, it's not always going to work out as rosy as we'd like. We will gain more experience on this. The important thing here, when you're thinking about doing this, is your customers need to own the actual estimate. They provide the information, they provide their plan, we provide to them how to turn that into an estimate. But they need to own it. And you know, this is may feel a little bit different, but it's not really that different from what we already do today, which is we estimate hardware for the client-managed world. When we go out to customers, both you as our partners and Qlik and us in partnership, and we say, what are you planning on doing? You'll need hardware about this big to do that. But the customer ultimately makes that decision. Now, when we're looking at this as well, we have a great new weapon or opportunity to do this, which is telemetry. So with the capacity pricing, we'll have a huge amount of telemetry that was never available to us before. We'll understand who's using what, how they're using it, where they're adopting, what they're not adopting, when a new part of the product starts getting used, a new source, a new target. AutoML is now starting to get heavily used. And we'll be able to use that telemetry to understand the capacity consumption better and also assist with the adoption. And the customer will see that information, the partner of record will see that information, and Qlik will see that information. So we can all work together with game-changing transparency. It's really going to change the way that we can interact. You no longer need to say, hey, what are you doing? It's, I noticed you're doing this, can I help? Or I noticed you're doing this, and you really shouldn't, can I help? With that telemetry, you're also going to have an interesting dynamic that's going to occur as well, which is, should the customer buy ahead or buy just in time? Now, I can tell you what our CFO would prefer, buy ahead. I can tell you what you would probably prefer, buy ahead. And you know what? We do that already today. We look at 3-year projections, and we have the customers who want to buy ahead and buy those numbers of users or buy enough source targets or cores or whatever it is on the metrics we're buying today. Others are going to say, you know what, I just want to buy a little bit at a time and buy incrementally. And that's okay as well. It's an interesting play that goes back and forth here on which you should do. The really interesting thing about buying ahead, though, of course, is there's a huge benefit in buying ahead. And it's not the price benefit, which is also there, but it's a logistical benefit. That going through procurement and going through that process is something a lot of our customers don't want to continuously do. Other customers will say, you know what, that's not a big deal for me, and then they'll buy just in time. What we recommend you do is you need to listen carefully to the customers, and you need to understand what fits them. Some customers will be buying all the time, and they'll move up, and they'll go just in time, just in time, just in time. You'll have the telemetry there to know when the right time is to buy, and they'll be in great shape. Other customers will buy ahead, and now you have the task to figure out how to ensure that adoption meets that planned curve. Ultimately, though, you want to make sure you don't exceed that capacity limit. When we're looking at capacity limits, Qlik, by design, has set it up so we don't want customers to go over. We've set it up so that there's no partner margin on it. Our sellers don't get paid on it. The customer pays more for the capacity. We've done this very intentionally. In the perfect world, if we do it all perfectly right, Qlik will never send out an overage bill to a customer. That's the goal. We may not achieve it, but that's the goal. And when you're dealing with capacity, what you want to do is always be ahead of that. And that's why that telemetry will be there to watch the customer increase. And when they get close to the top, you have two choices on how you approach that. You can go and tell them they got to buy more. Or if you really want to be a valued partner with them in the long term, is you can go and tell them how they can reduce their capacity needs. And the reason I say to do it with the second approach is that the first thing you do is you look at how to reduce their capacity needs. One of two things will happen. You'll find waste where they don't need to consume capacity, and you'll be a valued partner to them. And you'll actually make room for higher value activities. The other thing that happens is there isn't any waste and they need to buy more. That's good too, right? We don't mind selling a little bit. But by distilling down so that they're always looking at what the capacity they're consuming and making sure it's got the most value, when the time truly is to buy more, they already know that they're getting maximum value, and the upsell becomes much, much easier. We see that with the capacity. What we'll see happen is, because of the dynamics of the way we set up the packaging, is more and more users will come in and more use cases will come in, and that will drive a need for more capacity. Ultimately, that will push that up, and then you can have that in an environment where they're maximizing the value of their investment. So in my short time here, I've told you everything's going to change, and it's a big change. It is a big change. The way we need to think about how we're going to interact with our joint customers, the way they're going to think about their next projects is going to change. The pricing model is going to change. We're not forcing people over onto this model, but we are already seeing signs that customers are going to really embrace this. We have lots of requests to have access to the model before it's even live. But the thing I do want to leave you with is, while everything's changing, it's a big change. Well, I shouldn't say everything's changing. Big things are changing, except all the things that don't change. There's a huge number of things here with the capacity model, the fundamental approach and the value we offer that is not changing. We're still providing best-in-class data integration and analytics. We still are doing that with you, our partners, who are going to bring a huge amount of value to that. The innovation on the software is not going to change. Everything that James talks about previously is not changing. The interactions and the support team, that's not changing, with the exception of the telemetry, which is just a plus. So embrace this change. It will be a change that will change the way we interact with our customers, but it also will be something that continuously changes and improves as we go. We'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to talk to you anytime about this, and I'd love to be part of any of your early deals to help you with that change. So with that, thank you very much, and have a great rest of the show. We'll see you on the show floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Qlik's Chief Customer Officer, Roberto Segona.
Hello everybody. All right, we heard a lot from the new technologies, how overwhelming it can be, and business models. So the next 2 minutes, being the customer guy, I'm going to try to give you a few of the best practices we developed at Qlik in terms of customer success. How do we help customers through all these changes as well? I hope to convince you as well, during this short presentation, that we are at a crucial crossroad, that we need to evolve our go-to-market and engagement model together to help those customers. So I use this picture. This gives this idea of speed. I use this quote a lot in my previous company, actually, when we moved to subscription, because there's a lot of changes happening. And I think that our model, how we serve our customers in post-sales in particular, we haven't changed as much as we should. So the number of products is exploding, as I mentioned. The business models are evolving very quickly. Our customers have more and more decisions to make, and they're struggling to adopt all this technology, but they want to. They really want to adopt this technology. That's why they buy it. And we want them to use it too, because with those new business models, well, that's how we get paid. We only get paid when they use it. Okay? So It's not all negative with all this change and more technology. This is great things. And there's also a great opportunity that comes with those business model changes. There's a few of the 3 top things that this business model shift enables for us is this predictable revenue stream with subscription. It's only predictable if you have customer retention. At Qlik, we've seen this. We have great retention numbers. You heard this from Mike Capone. Thank you for all your help on that, by the way. I don't do this alone. You do this every day. Our sales team helps me every day. But I think what people always forget is retention means profitability. Cost of sales is lower. The industry says that roughly 5% increase in retention in our business means more than 20% gain in profitability. So why would you not want to do that? Number 2, I always say, helping sellers. Competitive advantage. So when you do a good job with your customers, today marketing, your brand, your reputation is how people talk about you. Happy customers will talk. Unhappy customers will talk too, unfortunately. So customer success nowadays is how you differentiate ourselves in this very crowded marketplace out there. Finally, revenue growth with upsell and cross-sell. If you have a captive audience of customers being loyal to you, I often use analogies. It's kind of in your stadium full of people. They're in the stadium, you can sell them something once they're in the stadium. You can sell them hot dogs. If they're not in the stadium, you cannot sell them anything. So revenue growth happens when you have this strong retention. It is also noted in the industry, those statistics are public out there, that selling to an existing customers, your odds, your chances to succeed are between 60 and 70%. Selling to brand new customers you never talk to, they already have software solutions. So you have to displace a competitor, you have to do a lot, the hard work. We still need to do that. But the odds of success is between 10 and 15%. So to be profitable, to grow your business, retention is key. This is your solid base you build your house on. But how do we do that? So, I'm sure all of you have heard about the layer model, land, adopt, expand, and renew. A lot of people talk about that in the industry. For customer success people like me, land is the sale, land, adopt, expand, and renew is a sales motion. When we talk about post-sales, we talk about plan, implement, monitor, and optimize. So those two goes kind of hand in hand. So I will try to highlight in those 4 quadrants a little bit what do we do during this time. I use a clock because I'm Swiss. I like to just think about, a lot of people show journey maps, which is a line. It is never a line, it's always a circle. You're always selling, you're always adopting, you're always upselling, you're always renewing. So that's why for me, because it's a circle, I use this watch. It's a model that I use with my team as well. What have you done at 3 o'clock? And they know 3 o'clock, end of planning. So this is a way, a mental model to remember things. So let's start with this phase 1, land or planning for people like me. This is all about building a plan post-sales. So you had a long sales cycle maybe, so you had conversation with those customers, so you know some things already. On top of that, you need to assess how good the customers understand the technology, where they come from, where they need to migrate, how many people they have, who's going to do the implementation. With all this information, you as a partner, together with Qlik, we need to sit down and develop a shared customer success plan for those customers. Now, at Qlik we do this for the large customers. We have CSMs, we create custom plans. For smaller customers, we still love them. We try to be more like digital or use a template. We use the same plan for more customers. But we need to have a plan for all customers. And then you need to get going. It's a clock, and the clock is ticking. So you need to get moving. You start with onboarding. Onboarding is not just meeting the customer. Onboarding is based on what you learned during this discovery phase, you really just get going with the customers. So we started doing this as we launched SaaS a bit more than a year and a half ago, and with this onboarding. And you heard my colleagues talk about telemetry, so I use telemetry as well. The first thing we learned is, and I was kind of shocked about it, it takes a lot more time for customers to activate their tenant. In some cases, months to just even begin to activate the tenant. So the first thing, best practice I developed is, I told my team, we need to measure time to activation. Right, so at least we're going to just know how long it takes, and we're going to try to improve on that. So these are the results of me measuring. They always say what gets measured gets done. So sure enough, this time to go live or activate the tenant went from, after 4 days, went from roughly 30% to more than 75% today. So this was amazing progress. So we're very happy about this. We also learned a lot about why people don't activate the 25% left. This has to do a lot about how we sell as well. When we do a SaaS add-on, maybe the customer does not want to use it right away. So we learned a great deal about the plan the customers have with SaaS. We have great examples of customers where we've done this, and I don't want to talk about Qlik and how I might do this. I want to talk about how we do this together with partner. Because this is a sports team here. This is a team sport we're playing, customer success. I cannot do it alone. You're in the field. You know your customers better than I do. So the first story I'd like to share with you is how Ometis, UK reseller, and Qlik did this very well, this onboarding, fast onboarding, and a great planning to drive the success of Pizza Express. So this is a great story. If I start with the net of the numbers, less than a year after we landed this deal, the deal grew by 30%. The initial deal was roughly $100,000 US, and it's 30% higher. The rollout is completed to all the 400 restaurants franchise in the UK. And they're going to need more soon because they're really exceeding the usage. They also like it so much, there is a POC running now with AutoML, and they're talking about our data integration solutions as well, the new data gateway, so we're just getting going with them. So the key factor for this success here, well, the first and most important one is the alignment, the collaboration between the partner, Ometis in this case, Qlik, and the customer. The customer needs to be part of it too. So the customer is here. I think they're going to present this week. I just met him this morning. The story is just unbelievable. And he said to me, he says, you guys are the gold standard of engagement model. So we don't always hear that, but I was very happy to hear it. So in this relationship, Ometis does most of the work. They have a consultant on site for about a year now, 4 days per week, project managing and doing all the technical work needed on site. And obviously, the dollar figures I talked about does not include all the services that the partner is able to provide. What Qlik does is the governance. I provide the CSM, I provide the best practices, I bring the experts when I need to, when there is a need of something very specific, someone with unique knowledge. That's what Qlik does. It's a great success story. So that was my first quadrant. But we have to move on also to adoption and implementation phase from there. So we created this great plan during the first quarter. Now we need to put it into action. Remember, the clock is ticking. In this phase, we implement, it's about driving a significant go live as quickly as possible. By significant go live, what I mean is, this is where the customer needs to just look at you in the eye and say, I see the value. I got it. I know I made the right investment. I'm seeing the light. I see the path. In industry, we call this time to value. And as a proxy for this, I use again our telemetry. And we measure monthly active users, how many users come on the platform on a regular basis, after 90 days and after 180 days, so we can trend and see how our customer is evolving. And here again, in a year, from December to December last year, we've seen On the large customers, on the smaller customers, you manage them. Mostly, I don't have always full visibility, but we've seen a progress of 10% on active users in those customers. It sounds like a small number, but remember, usage means billings in the future with those business models. So a 10% difference can make all the difference. We use the information when we don't see usage with customer to go back and understand what's wrong with our plan. If they don't use it and they had a plan, something went wrong. So we learn if they need more education, if they need more, if we have to change the plan of implementation and so on and so forth. Let's look at another example of a place where this onboarding, creating a plan, and implementation is going very well, but also this cycle motion, because in these customers we have multiple cycles going on at the same time. We look at Qlik working with Booz Allen Hamilton as a partner in the US to drive the success at Advana. So Advana, for those who don't know, is the largest analytics platform across the US Department of Defense. This is a huge account for us. Here too, Booz Allen Hamilton leads the engagement, or mostly all the resources they're facing the customers day in and day out. Qlik, in the background, but also in the meetings with the customer, we provide the CSM coverage, the governance. We organize the QBRs to make sure we review progress on a regular basis. And again, throw in the right resources at the right time when needed for some specific requirements on the project. So essentially here, Qlik shadows and augments the Booz Allen team, because the project is very big, so we just provide the scale essentially. You can see here, like all those 2x metrics, these adoption numbers speak for themselves. It is already a very large account, and when you see 2x growth year over year, this is just simply spectacular. Let's switch to the next phase, the third quartile, which is where implementation is done. This is about expanding the customer eventually, or monitoring, as we call it in my profession. So we're trying to understand here, is this customer is on track. So if we've done our job right, like the two examples I used of Pizza Express and Advana, we should only be talking about what's next. There should be no argument about trouble. Unfortunately, not all customers are in a happy state all the time. So we only have usage data on SaaS, so I don't have telemetry for all the client managed customers. I don't have CSM on all customers either. So how do I make sure my customers are on track? What we need to figure out here is the customer on track with the desired outcome? The reason why they bought the technology, are they on track with it? So telemetry won't do that. Telemetry, you can see how they point, how they click, how they use the product. At this point, you really need to ask the customer how they're doing. So we've been, in the 5 years I've been here, we've been standardizing in a great set of metrics and NPS measurements. This score you see here, the good to great, our corporate NPS, which you are part of, because this is all our joint customers we survey twice per year, they rewarded us with 70% progress over 2 years. I don't share numbers on slides like this, it's not practice in the industry, but we're in the great category, and we're even better with SaaS. So we really have a spectacular number. I also measure CSAT transactionally. Every single support interaction, implementation, I ask the customer how it went. And I try to learn and close the loop. If it's not done right, I have a chance to go back. But I'm still not telling me, all of this survey is not telling me if we're on track with the overall project or the customer getting his ROI. So to do this, I went and implemented an health check. So it's very simple, 6 months before renewal, I call you or email you and ask you if you're happy as a customer. Ask you if you're seeing the value, if you're getting the ROI, if it's working as expected when you made the investment. I'm asking you if I can help you further, if there's anything I can do for you. So I call this an early warning system because 6 months before renewal, I can catch the ball. I can see if my customer is in trouble and I can intervene. Sometimes we think complicated system. A simple phone call here does the trick. This process is the most successful thing I've done at Qlik in my tenure here. This has greatly reduced the number of surprises at renewal. I can forecast my renewal 6 months ahead now and be pretty precise about it. The picture you see shows, for example, last year Q4, my Q4 renewals. In Q2, 2 quarters early, 6 months earlier, I identified, making those phone calls, $15 million or 84 accounts that were at risk of not renewing. What did we do? We assigned people, CSM, support, whatever. Sales people jump in and help me as well. I call this the Customer for Life program. And then you see the results here. So out of these $15 million, we did lose 920K. The rest renewed. So that's pretty impressive, I think, in terms of like, from a batch of customers who are at risk, how many were we able to secure? So I talked about 4 best practices here. Success planning is the first one. Create a plan, understand what the customer is trying to achieve, and create this roadmap, this customer success plan. Measure usage, active usage of users, how many users go on your platform every day. Measure satisfaction, measure NPS. Conduct health checks is the 4th one. If you do all of this, obviously, the renewal is a much easier conversation. There's no surprises to begin with, and if you've done this right, which works quite well, I can guarantee you, the renewal conversation is really a conversation about what else can I do for you? Do you want to talk about the other platform I can offer to you? Do you want to talk about the next project you have for me? So in conclusion, the time for change is now. Doing all those activities I talk about, that's not what we do normally. We have salespeople and post-salespeople who wait for a phone call to intervene. We need to upgrade our partnership, you and I, moving forward. I need to give you visibility on renewals, which I believe is about to go live on Partner Portal. I need to share with you what I know with telemetry and engagement, how people come to Qlik's website and read documents and what questions do they ask and so on and so forth. I'm talking to some of you. I have this idea that we should really be going to the customer as one. This idea not just co-selling on the software, but co-selling services and co-deliver those services. The 2 examples I used today, we've done a lot of, I do the CSM, the partner does the delivery, so it's a 90% for you, 10% for me. That's pretty good. We have to have joint QBR, be in the room together with the customer. I have an ask on the other side for you. I do a lot of health checks. Many times I don't know who the customer is and who to call. That would be great if for your customers, you provide me with this health check data. I can show you how to do it, and I can help you act on it later on. You can share with me your touch points, your support, your implementation, your education, your training, and so on and so forth. I can run the same surveys and the same NPS score for you than I do for me. Provide that as a service to you. So we can see together how you can improve. But finally, I need you to invest in customer success. It is not just always about selling and post-sales support. I know you do services. I think you need customer success. I mean, invest in this thinking, in this closing the loop, in those best practices I shared with you. Invest in the customer success management practice. So you'll be hearing more from me and the partner team as we're pretty excited about just kicking off some initiatives around those points I talked about. Thank you very much. And have a nice rest of the conference. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Itamar Ancorrio.
All right. Thank you, James. Thanks, George. Thanks, Roberto. And also thanks thanks to Tony and Gary from Analytics 8 and Inform for sharing their perspectives, great guidance, and hopefully everybody valued the information and the presentations. And now, for one more thing before we go to break, some partner awards. Yeah, so first of all, to get started, I wanted to take a moment to recognize and congratulate all the regional partners that were already announced as award winners during a virtual partner conference summit back in February. So again, thank you all and congratulations. Thank you. Take pictures. Only this. All right. Next, we have a few additional regional awards to call out, starting with our OEM Partner of the Year. So, our first award of the afternoon recognizes the OEM Partner of the Year in EMEA. This award is recognition for this partner's remarkable contribution and the innovative use of Qlik solutions in their applications. They are one of the first partners to use Qlik data integration products embedded in their offering, bring data from multiple sources into their application. And with Qlik's embedded analytics, this partner created 3 different lines of add-on solutions to their customers. For their innovation and continued strong partnership in 2022, I'm excited to announce Tech Systems as our OEM Partner of the Year for EMEA. I'd like to invite Andrea Rossi, Head of Business Intelligence for Team Systems, to join us on stage. Okay, and now for North America, for the North America OEM Partner of the Year. This award goes to a partner for their, again, remarkable contribution to in this case, to the manufacturing industry. Their solution unlocks valuable machine data to help manufacturers identify and resolve operational inefficiencies across factories. This partner also played an important role in testing the new QlikSense SaaS multi-tenant architecture, which was invaluable to us. So, for their outstanding work in 2022, I'm excited to announce our system as the OEM Partner of the Year for North America. Accepting the award on behalf of our systems is Dave Chen. Set of awards recognizes excellence, regional excellence with our system integrators. We'll start in North America. Some of the things that we evaluate in a partnership include the field alignment, the joint solutions, the governance and delivery skills, and most of all, of course, business results. This partner checked all these boxes in 2022. They played a pivotal, significant role in several new new wins for us, including some of the well-known brands in the United States. One of these wins, which they brought us into, became one of the largest data integration wins of the year. So I'm thrilled to announce our 2022 System Integrator Partner of the Year for North America is Capgemini. I'd like to invite Luke Bukrok, Vice President of Practice Lead for Insights and Data at Capgemini, to receive the award. Thank you so much. Come on. Next up is a System Integrator Partner of the Year for EMEA. This partner uses Qlik solutions to help clients modernize technology, reimagine processes, and transform experiences. Europe is a key part of the global growth markets, and they have made tremendous investments in Qlik partnership, and joint go-to-market. Through regular cadence of leadership meetings, joint account planning, enablement and certification of a large group of consultants on the Qlik platform, that all led to significant several wins for us in 2022. I'm pleased to announce that our 2022 System Integrator Partner of the Year in EMEA is Cognizant. I'd like to invite Naveen Sharma, Global Head of Data and AI at Cognizant, to receive the award. Okay, and our final regional award recognizes the System Integrator Partner of the Year for Asia, for APAC. This partner was the lead consultant in a win at Indian Oil Corporation, where Qlik is being used to monitor over 3,000 KPIs. And across the region, especially in India and Japan, this partner influenced multiple customer wins for us in 22. I'm pleased to announce our 22 System Integrator Partner of the Year for APAC is PwC. Accepting the award on behalf of PwC is Ronald Mukherjee. Okay. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much. Now, one last additional special recognition, to call out before we take a break. I'd like to congratulate our partner Bearworks for being recognized by Gartner and the market leader in the inaugural Magic Quadrant for process mining tools. The product MPMX leverages Qlik Sense to help deliver unique value, and we're so excited to see them being recognized by Gartner. So please join me in congratulating Bearworks. Thank you. Okay, with that, it's time for a break. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all soon.
We're going to take a break. Our program will begin again in 30 minutes.